but I don't see her. I'm waiting for Tiffany Warren. Jeff, I don't know what she said do. Is this where it's supposed to be? You're supposed to click on the link so I can see you. I don't know what to do. She said she's here, but I don't see her. This is weird. Jeff, do you see her? I need help. I don't know what happened to her. No? She's not there. I don't see her. Unless she's there, and I don't see her. I know, full screen. No, I don't need that. I don't need this. Oh, that's great. I just lost everything. I don't see her. I don't see her at all. Help, Jeff. I don't see her. There's something not right here. How do I get her in? I don't see her there, right?
Nope.
And she said she's in the restroom studio. How could she be in the studio if I don't see her?
Did she? No, she should be.
You got her?
No, I don't see.
She's not there, right? I'm not wrong, am I?
Wait a minute. Who's this? Oh, that's.
That's me. I don't see her. She said she's in the restroom. Maybe that's it.
No.
No, it's not. There's something wrong. I don't know what studio she's in. I said to her, click on the link. She didn't, right?
I don't see her up there at all.
She's not there. Invite guest. But I don't have her phone number, her email number. She's not too swift.
This is the wrong invite thing, too.
Well, yeah.
No, it's the wrong invite thing. This is not right.
It's the wrong one?
Invite. Yeah, there was another. Oh, fuck. Why is everything so fucked up all the time?
Share screen?
No. It's not.
It's the right stream. It's the right stream.
Yeah, but I know I had to click on something else. You don't want the general thing.
What do I click on?
Friend, I don't know anymore. Refresh.
Refresh.
Let's see.
New link. Cancel. Invalidate current invite.
Okay. Yeah, but there was something that. God.
That didn't happen yesterday.
No, it didn't.
This is weird.
Hold on. What the hell was that? I don't know anymore.
This is weird. Something's wrong with the fucking What?
page. I know that you don't want an email where she has to have a restream thing. This whole fucking thing is.
You don't need it. You don't. And I don't even see the help thing there.
Yeah, need help is down here.
Yeah, well,
You know.
let's see.
This. This fucking this crap. I don't know with this stuff.
The help is doing something, but I don't know what. But I don't know how to invite her.
Man, God,
I don't
hate
know.
this whole fucking thing.
I know that. What is an idiot? Can I fly a screenshot of my panel?
Do this anymore. I can't do this.
How am I supposed to do that?
I don't know, friend. I can't. Whole fucking thing. Whole fucking thing.
This is getting stupid. Reload page.
No, friend, it's not that. I think this is going to give her the wrong thing.
This is the one.
I don't care, Ray. can't do this anymore.
Let me see if she gets on here. Yeah, but I don't see her. This is live, and I don't see her, right?
Can't do this anymore.
What am I supposed to do? She's not there.
This whole fucking
I have no idea. How am I supposed to buy the screenshot?
anymore. I can't do this anymore. Let me see something.
That's me, right?
Mm. Man,
That's it, yeah.
no.
I don't know why it says Delisle. It should say Tiffany. I don't need this. It say Tiffany. And of course it went down again.
No, just get
I
out of
don't know what
settings.
happened to it. I don't see it at all.
That's the wrong Restream thing. That's gonna get
No.
it. You know, it keeps us saying DP Lyle.
And I didn't put that. That was on the last one too.
You better straighten all this out. You're gonna have to tell you redo it another day. This is ridiculous. Nothing's
I have no
coming
idea. Video setting?
in.
Video setting.
No, it has nothing to do with that. Tell her you do it another day. You do it because there's something wrong with the station. Gonna have to run a test on this whole fucking thing again.
I don't know what happened. This has to be her. This is me. Oh, this, I can't do this. This is crazy. It's not even the right studio. I'm gonna shut this down. What do you think? Shall I just delete it? What should I do? Oh, this is ridiculous. What should I do? Delete it?
Yeah.
How do I shut it down?
I don't know. You're supposed to know.
Enter full screen.
No, that doesn't mean anything, Fran.
Unknown caller.
This whole thing.
Oh, it's her. Hi. I don't know what happened. I don't. This is weird. It shouldn't. And I don't see you. That's the thing. This is so weird. And I didn't have this problem the other day. It's just I think this thing is driving me crazy. Oh, I'm gonna cry. This should not happen. Reload the page. Stay on the page. Full screen. You know what? I don't see you. That's the problem. When can you do this again? I feel, this is not me. I don't see it. That's the weird. Jeff, she said that that she's there, and this is really weird. It does. I don't see it. I just sent you the link again. Let me see. I'm gonna. This is not me. I'm the most organized person on this planet. And I've been looking forward to. I even tried to find her music. I found a song that she sang too. I don't know. I found one a long time ago. Must have been a fluke. Yeah. I don't know why this is not going. And it's taping, by the way, but I think it's taping anyway. Did you click on the link I sent? I think I sent it to. Let me look again. No, I sent it to. I sent it to you. It should be there. Let me look at my link now. This is gonna drive me crazy. I know I did. Okay. Enter studio. Copy the link. And I'm gonna just send it to you now. Hopefully. I don't know. Let me look again. I just sent it again. Unless the link went to the wrong person. Yeah, let me look again on my phone. Cause she's the one that agreed to do whatever. JNN. Hannah, yeah. Okay, just send it to her again. Maybe I sent it to the wrong person. I don't know. I see two. Jeff, help. It says two. Hello? Jeff, I got it.
Okay.
How do I get her in?
Where is she?
There she is.
Right here.
She got the wrong link, that's why.
Okay.
Hi. I can't hear. Can you
Hi.
hear me?
Mm-hmm. Can you
Can
hear
you get
me?
louder, Jeff? Oh, Tiffany, I'm gonna lose my mind. I said I know that she would not show up.
Oh no, of course I would show up.
I am
Not
so
show up.
excited. And I even have this great preview. So when you get the thing, just skip the first 20 minutes. Just I said, just gonna have a set. Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield was the first African American opera singer who became popular in the United States and Europe. And when they called her the Black Swan, I was like, oh my God.
Yes.
She received voice, piano, and guitar lessons. And the great thing is that she sang in 3 octaves.
Hmm.
Yeah, I couldn't do that if I tried.
Me either.
No, I mean, my sister could. My sister,
Hmm.
before she died, she could because she sang in shows, and then there was me playing the piano.
Oh, that's
So,
wonderful.
yeah, I was a concert pianist, yeah, but
Oh,
this
wow.
book really, I just sat down and read it, and I said, I feel so bad this morning. I don't know.
Well,
What
we
made you,
figured it out. We figured it out.
this is like, what made you choose her, and how did you research her? She's so interesting. I couldn't put the book down.
So I found her. I was researching another book, actually. I was researching W.E.B. Du Bois's daughter, Yolande Du Bois, and he had a record company called Black Swan Records. And it was named in honor of Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield, who you said was a black swan. And I didn't know who she was. And
Yeah,
that day I fell down a rabbit hole of research, and I have been obsessed with opera since I was a teenager.
you should make it louder.
So I absolutely was mesmerized by her story, and I just had to write it. So, yeah, that's how I found her.
I couldn't put this down. I mean, I know that it's historical fiction, but
Hmm.
who is Miss Elizabeth, and why was Eliza? Why was she living with her? She was blessed because she was a slave, and she was. I've read so many books, about thousands in the last 10 years more. And when I read this, I said I had to give her the courage to do what
Absolutely.
she did because no one, I mean, I read a book that Robert Zagoni just wrote, and what happened with anybody that was a slave, it scared my grandmother was put into a concentration camp as a slave. So I know. So
Hmm.
who was Miss Elizabeth, and who was she? Why was she living with her? And tell me about the Philadelphia community where she was raised. She was blessed.
So, absolutely. So, Elizabeth was born enslaved on a plantation in Mississippi, and Elizabeth H. Greenfield was the
You can make
former.
this louder.
She freed all of the people enslaved on the plantation, and it in Mississippi the law was if you freed slaves, they had to go to Liberia. They couldn't stay in the state.
Whoa.
Yep. So that's how Eliza ended up living with the older Mrs. Greenfield because her family had to go to Africa, and so Mrs. Greenfield took Eliza with her to Philadelphia and raised her, educated her, made sure she got musical education, and she lived in this Philadelphia community where there were abolitionists, there were free and actually wealthy Black people who helped bring slaves from the South across the Underground Railroad and helped bring them to freedom. So I was very excited to find out about this community that I didn't know about.
That's amazing. Well, I should tell you this. I never do this for any of my radio shows when I was on Blog Talk. And I never did this for the first two streams, but I did it this time. I put her picture on my Facebook wall and I dedicated it to Black History Month.
Yay!
Yeah, you know what? When I taught, I did Black History Month with the kids, but every day in February I did a different Black American.
That's
And
right.
I told them they couldn't pick people like Martin Luther King or anybody. They had to pick somebody that nobody knew about. And
Yes,
that's how yeah,
absolutely. The hidden figures that we don't know, and which is why I was very
yeah.
excited to learn about Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield because she was someone that I didn't know previously. And I'm 50 years old. So I the fact that I'm still learning about Black American first. She was the first Black opera singer in the United States, the first Black woman to tour the country. And this was before the Civil War. So most people who looked like her in our country were still enslaved on plantations. So it was really courageous what she did, and she was ahead of her time.
I was rooting for her the whole time, and I know she got frustrated at times too because
For sure.
people could be really mean. But to be, I played the piano in five octaves, whatever. But to sing in three octaves, I
Oh
mean,
wow.
some people thought it was a blessing, some people thought it was a curse. But I thought, and I mean, I did find something. Maybe it wasn't her voice, but it sounded like her, and it was so beautiful. And everything she sang was. I was so sorry that you couldn't. I couldn't find anything. There must be 20 sites or more on from YouTube where different people told her story,
Hmm.
telling her story, and I
Yeah.
listened to every one of them yesterday, so I get a better handle on. So,
Hmm.
what launches Eliza into this great adventure that became her life pursuing her music because she wasn't sure. I
Yeah,
mean,
she
she didn't get up there and say, "I'm great."
exactly, exactly. So she had a situation when her benefactor Elizabeth H. Greenfield died
Yeah.
and left her this inheritance. That inheritance was contested. And so she was penniless and she wasn't sure like what she was going to do. And that's why in the book, she decided to get on that steamer to Buffalo, continue her musical journey, and she met a Buffalo socialite on the boat and sang for her. And the rest, as they
I
say,
remember that.
history. And that
And
actually happened. That was not a fictional piece in the novel. She really did meet Electra Potter on the steamship and sang for her. And she ended up performing for most of the people on the steamship that day.
how many people would actually do that? Not
Not
many.
many, not many.
Especially for a black American, wouldn't they
Mhm.
do it? And I was like, yeah, she deserves it. That's great.
She was very brave. She was
I
very
know. You have to be in this world, you have to be really gutsy too and
brave.
brave. So, where does she get her first concert and how did they react? I mean, she was amazing, the girl that helped her.
Yes, she was. So
She
when they
deserved
got
more than a hug.
oh, absolutely. So when she got to Buffalo, Electra Potter introduced her to Buffalo society and allowed her to have a concert in her home. And it was just so wonderful because that is where she met all the people that helped her launch her very first tour around the country.
They compared her, I hate when they do this, to Jenny Lind.
Well, yeah, of course.
I
And
know, but and she was, everybody has their own kind of thing. And I hate
absolutely,
when they do that, but I can
absolutely.
understand why. Jenny Lind was great. I actually listened to her music too.
Yes.
I had to do
Jenny
both.
Lind was the prima donna of the day, right?
Yeah.
And so she was the Swedish Nightingale. And that was her stage name. Everyone called her that. And that's actually how Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield's stage name came about. A reviewer of one of her shows said, "Oh, well, why do we need the Swedish Nightingale when we have an American? Give us the Black Swan." And so that name kind of stuck and it followed her throughout her career. And she didn't really like the name at first, but she kind of leaned into it, especially after she stopped touring. She started something called the Black Swan Opera Troupe, where she would mentor young Black opera singers and help them out on their journey.
That's a hard thing to get used to when somebody calls you that. It took her time, but it actually worked for her.
Hmm.
Now, the character that I love is Charles.
Oh, yes. I
Yes,
love
he
Charles
seems
too.
like a piece of candy for those like something sweet in their stories.
Yes.
So, and well, tell us about him, and then we'll have to talk about the fact, even till this day, for some reason, there are restrictions as to where people can perform. And after listening to some of the things that are on the news, I get angry because I don't like racism, and I don't like prejudice, and I don't like telling just because you're this you can't do that. That
Yes.
drives me crazy.
Yes,
So
absolutely. Well, Charles in the story, he was Eliza's accompanist. She met him at a church, a very historic church, actually, in Buffalo, the Michigan Street Baptist Church. I, on purpose, put many historic locations as Easter eggs for African Americans who are on a historical scavenger hunt through the book. So, Michigan Street Baptist Church was one of the first churches, it was actually the first church that was funded and paid for by the Black congregants.
Mhm.
Most of the churches that Black people attended during the 1800s were gifted to them by, their white sister organizations. But Michigan Street Baptist, they built their own church brick by brick, and the pastor of the church was actually hands on in that. He actually helped build the church. And so that's why I had her attend Michigan Street Baptist Church, and that's where she met the fictional character Charles. But yes, she did encounter a lot of racism. Um,
Yeah.
it was a time when the Fugitive Slave Act allowed people to come and kidnap Black folks, whether they were enslaved or not,
Hmm.
and put them on plantations. I'm sure you remember the book 12 Years a Slave, or the movie. That was an accurate depiction of what can happen to someone, even if you were wealthy, even if you were free. If someone got into their mind that they wanted to kidnap you and take you down south,
Mm.
it could happen. So it was a very perilous time. And Eliza still went out on her journey anyway. And she did it afraid, but her courage paid off.
All I could say is that this for some reason this year, I know you could. I loved it. Love it. They're doing a lot of Black history up here, more than any other year. They have libraries that are doing things. They have Philharmonic, Black Philharmonic Orchestra for kids.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, that's my thing. I mean, it's through the libraries and there's a whole bunch of older people. They did something for them to the seniors. It's like finally you got it.
I love that. When I was
Yeah.
in elementary school, I was in a school district that really invested heavily in children, Black children, benefiting from the arts. So I was able to go to the orchestra. I went to
See, I
elementary school
know.
in Cleveland, so I got to go to the orchestra and stage plays and see the opera. And so that was really an enhancement of my education. And so that's very important. And so I'm glad to hear that that kind of celebration is happening for Black History Month. I love that.
It is. And I went to school in the South Bronx. I grew up in a tough neighborhood, and I just didn't know it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm 97 pounds. I was like that. So by walking down the street and some tough guys looked at me, I said, "You want my back end?" And they didn't. They didn't even think. So this is the part that's still even today. What places could she not perform in? What
Well,
restrictions did she face? And how did she deal with the abolitionist movement as an activist? I said, like, she really. It's too bad she's not alive. Because if she
right.
was alive, she'd be right here.
Right, absolutely. So there, this was before the Jim Crow laws, right? So she was able to move about the northern states just as long as she had money to stay in hotels, she was able to stay there.
Yeah,
But she only toured in the northern states. She did not tour below the
yeah,
Mason-Dixon line. That was not safe. And she also toured in the United Kingdom. So she toured all over England, Ireland, Scotland. She did a British tour, and she sang for Queen Victoria in Buckingham Palace. But she did encounter lots of protests to her shows. Most of her audiences, particularly in the United States, were all white audiences. And, the abolitionists at the time wanted her to fight for mixed audiences. And so
yeah.
she did have shows where she was able to do that. She was able to have Black people in attendance, but they were far and few between. And she found at times that she had to do separate shows for her Black fans who wanted to see her in concert.
Yeah, they had to sit in the back. I remember.
Yep.
They had us sit in the back and they couldn't sit in the front. And I said, well, that's not fair.
Hmm.
That's not fair. And
Right.
we see, I've always been, I got brought up, like I said, in the South Bronx, and my father owned a cleaning store in a tough neighborhood in the Bronx. And going to teaching in a school in the Bronx, I never had kids that ever said anything other than you're the most wonderful person in the world. There was no such thing in my school as any kind of racism or any comment.
Right.
And that's what made it better, I guess, for 100 years that I was there.
Hmm.
So she performed this was hard. How did you come up with she performed under several managers? And how do you deal with so many people that are in charge of your career? Because each one had a different take, and that made it hard for her.
Well, it was during a time where women did not really have much agency, right?
Yeah,
She couldn't make deals for herself. She couldn't open doors for herself. This was during the 1800s. Women couldn't even own property without a man being there to, facilitate it. So Eliza had these managers, and you know this happened in real life. These were white
yeah,
men who were not always on the up and up. That some of them were kind of duplicitous, and he she had to manage, she had to deal with that. And if she wanted to have shows, if she wanted
yeah,
calls to book her, she had to use these kind of flaky managers, and that was just part of
yeah,
the obstacles that she had to face trying to have a career. This was not a time where I've been calling her the Beyonce of the antebellum, but she certainly did not have the ability that Beyonce has to go in and sit down and make a deal. She had to have someone speak and do on her behalf.
Now you introduced my favorite author ever. When I taught, I made sure that the kids read Harriet Beecher Stowe's plays, and I love her. So
Mhm.
why would she be interested in Eliza? I love Harriet Beecher Stowe and the messages that she sent. And that was very big on Black History Week. We read one a month or more. So I said, why did you introduce her? I was like, that really endeared me to the story even more.
Yes, well, Harriet in real life was an advocate for Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield. They knew one another. And what I believe is that Eliza kind of personified Harriet's beliefs, that if if you just allowed and educated the black people in the country at the time, if you allowed them to flourish, then they would be able to show you a completely different side. You would see the magic, and Eliza was evidence of that. She said, look at this gifted woman, she deserves this opportunity. And Harriet Beecher Stowe was a huge ally for Eliza
Yeah,
during a very crucial and pivotal moment in the novel and in her real life. And so uh, I had to have Harriet be there in the book because she really did play a huge role in Elizabeth Taylor Greenfield's life. She understood what it meant to be an ally.
I love her. So I have to get back to Charlie. I love Charlie. I
He
know
was a
this.
piece of candy. I like that
I know.
description.
How did she finally realize that maybe there's a hope for her with him? And I felt he was frustrated. He
Oh,
got bumped down, whatever. I go, wait a minute, Liza. Doesn't matter what he looks like. It matters what kind of person he is
yeah.
inside. So Charlie wound up. So if you had continued the story, where would you have put Eliza next? Is there a
Well,
sequel coming?
probably I don't know about a sequel. But let me just say, Eliza had a very rich life after the events in my novel, and in my historical note at the end, you'll see I had so much research left. I said the book would be 1,000 pages if I did all wrote about all the things that I researched. But she actually did another tour during the Civil War where she was raising money for the black soldiers to make sure that they had proper shoes and uniforms. And then after the Civil War, she had her biggest cause was orphans, because Eliza, after her family went to Liberia, she was, for all intents and purposes, an orphan, and she knew that it was Mrs. Greenfield's um, you know generosity that helped get her on her proper footing. And so she had a huge cause in Black orphans. And so she raised money by singing concerts all over churches, Black churches in the United States, to raise money for Black orphanages. And so she did that later on in her life. During the book, she had a lot of interactions with editors and editorial writers in the Frederick Douglass newspaper. And so later in life, she actually was able to be a part of a few programs with Frederick Douglass. So I was
Oh,
happy to see
oh wow.
that came full circle, that she was able to become a part of the abolitionist
I
movement.
remember that.
That they were pushing her, and she wasn't ready in that part of her career to really lean into advocacy the way they wanted her to. She chose her own path, but I love that later on in life it came full circle for her, and she was able to stand on the stage with those same abolitionists who had such sharp criticism for her early in her journey.
I like the fact that she doesn't back down. She's so like me.
No, she doesn't. She does not back down.
No,
She's
yeah, I
her
know.
own
I
woman.
have a problem at times too, because if I think I'm right, forget it. Forget it. I know. So you found the
Oh,
inspiration. Are you one of those authors? Do you like to listen to music while you write? Me, I just take my notepad and I start typing. So I posted your review. I think I sent it to the wrong person. I'm going to resend it to Hannah. And I hope you like it. It took me a while to correct it and write it this morning again. I have a habit of writing it on my notepad because my computer has a habit of making it disappear.
oh,
Yeah, and I did it 3 times. I didn't give anything away, but I did write. I couldn't put the book down,
oh, that's
and the
one.
historical notes make a big deal at the end. So for those people that really want to know what really happened, you have to read. I did. I read everything, and I normally don't read the historical notes.
Well, I'm the kind of person, if I read, because I like historical fiction, if I read the book and the person has really captured me,
Yeah,
I want to know about their real life. So
yeah.
I'm online, I'm trying to, research the person. I really want to know about the person. So I thought that would be good for people who really love historical fiction. Like, here's some real things to sink your teeth into. So I'm glad that that's being appreciated. I've gotten that comment from quite a few readers, and so I'm happy that I put the time in doing that piece of it.
Well, I have hands out for this. My dermatologist gets all my books. But yeah, he does. But when I told him about this one, he said, "Don't you dare give it away." So after, yeah, I'm going to bring him about 50 books, but this one goes on top. I'm very particular about who I give stuff to, but it's really, this is a story that everybody needs to read. They need to understand what she went through and other black people went through in the past. I mean, I my principal, the principal before the last person that came was a black principal, and she took me under her wing because she wanted me to take her place when she retired.
Mm,
I mean, everyone in my school, nobody looked at anybody as being whatever different or whatever. Everybody was the same,
mhm.
and the kids were hilarious.
I
They they,
really,
they were made. The kids were the best. Actually, I know they are because they're on Facebook. All of them, and they're about. I'm not that old, but they're about your age, so a little bit younger, and they remind me of how I tortured them because I was a reading specialist. And they'll tell you, they said, "Yeah, well, she didn't back. They were. It makes me so proud."
well, I keep up with my teachers on
Yeah,
social media. All of my fourth grade, actually, I was in first grade, and she was the fourth grade reading teacher.
yeah,
And I used to have to go to her class because I was an advanced reader. And she
yeah.
still follows me on social media. She follows my career. Hey, Miss Kapler, she probably will watch this. But yeah, so I definitely, like, educators are so important, especially when it comes to literacy. I was just talking
Yeah,
to someone about how to fix, a lot of the things that happen to young people, in their early adulthood is to get them reading books as small children. I just did an event with a bookstore in Winston-Salem, and they do something, they're called bookmarks, and they do something that's so amazing. They bring children to they raise money. They're a nonprofit bookstore. They raise money to bring children to the store and allow them to pick out 3 books of their own. And it's different than a library where you have to bring the book back. You get to pick out a book that's yours, that you own. And I was like, that's so amazing, because I remember growing up in a, urban school, and the Scholastic truck would come, and you couldn't necessarily afford the book. So it was kind of like, if you were a kid like me who loved to read, that was torture, going to the Scholastic book fair and not being able to afford to bring home books. But this bookstore is giving children books to read and have of their very own. And I just think that's so important, to stoke the flames of literacy early on at that elementary school age, that formative age. And doing things like that, like, creates readers who are thinkers, and who are people who are going to give to society, and who lead with love and understanding, and not fear and hate. So I definitely love my educators who stoked that love of literacy and reading and books in me.
Yeah, I was the reading specialist when I finally got it. I taught, I don't know how I survived. I taught 19 classes of learning disabilities of kids that were all discipline problems, double grades.
Mm,
Fourth and fifth and sixth. Oh, this was the fifth grade class that I had, fifth and sixth grade class, and I was absent for 10 minutes because my principal called me and said, "Get your body here." They couldn't handle them. And I said, "How could you not hear?" They were good. They didn't start with me. And they were tough kids. I taught the reading. I taught reading the reading lab. And the fun part about teaching back when I could do it was that I didn't follow the program. I did whatever I wanted,
mhm.
and they all learned to read. I mean, I did. Every group was different, but I cracked up laughing one day. A group of kids came in at 6:30 in the morning because they knew I was there. They sat down. They did, and they were brand new to the country.
Oh, wow.
And they looked at me and they said, "The kid out there said that you're the best reading teacher in the world. We're not leaving until you show us." They didn't know the alphabet, nothing.
Oh, wow.
And I looked at them and they said, "We're going to get suspended because we snuck up." I said, "I'm going to challenge you. In 10 minutes, you're going to read 100 words." And they did. In 20 minutes, you're going to read 200 words. But are you going to come every day?
Mm.
They did. Every day to the last day of school. I couldn't be absent. And I said, "You know something? Now the literacy programs are not like that. This new science of reading is horrible. This new reading program." And I even said it to the teacher of my school. I said, "Do this, you'll have a much better." So, what's next for you, and when am I getting it?
So what's next is I'm actually editing right now, my novel about W.E.B. Du Bois's daughter, Yolande Du Bois. It's called A Wedding in Harlem. And I
Right.
cannot wait for people to read this book. It comes
Oh,
out next
good.
year. And I came to Harlem for 3 weeks and researched at the Schomburg, and it was an amazing experience. This book is probably my favorite thing I've ever written. It's about her love story with jazz great Jimmy Lunsford, but we know she ended up having an ill-fated marriage to the Harlem Renaissance poet Count Cullen, who was a genius in his own right. So this book is the best thing I've written. So I cannot wait for other people to see it.
Well, this one is one of the best books I've written. I've read.
The unexpected
Yes,
diva.
everybody, it's right there. And I'm going to put the picture on on my radio show. So where can we find out about you so I can brag a little bit more? This is my third stream. I'm just getting used to doing this.
Oh, well, you can find me on social media. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, Tiffany L. Warren on IG, author Tiffany L. Warren on Facebook, and I have a website, TiffanyLWarren.com. So come see me. I'm on Blue Sky too. I'm everywhere. Everywhere there's social media, I'm there.
Well, this show, this what's left of whatever. It started 19 minutes, whatever. This tape is going to be on YouTube,
Okay.
LinkedIn, FaceTime,
All right.
and everywhere. It's
Everywhere.
public. It's everywhere. Yeah. And if I post it, I'm going to post a review on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yesterday, I posted a review on LinkedIn. I got 400 views. I
Woo.
was like,
Okay.
the
Engaged.
first, yeah, the first stream I did on Tuesday, I was like a nervous wreck, and then I can't I have a problem with my neck, so I can't keep it up straight all the time.
Hmm.
And I did one yesterday with he was a general and he dealt with drug enforcement, and it
Uh-huh.
was like so I was like so interested. I was just hoping I was smart enough to answer his question. It was great. But yeah, if I post your review on LinkedIn, I guarantee the tape and everything's going to get a lot of views. So
Awesome.
people are going to start knowing. But thank you so much. I'm so glad we finally got
Thank
this
you.
done.
I am too. I was like, oh no, oh no,
I think
Hannah, we
this
gotta
had to
figure
be
it out.
something wrong with the station. Everybody, have a great day.
You
Say something
too.
positive, no negative, and bye.
Absolutely.
Thank
Bye.
you. How do I end the stream? It doesn't give me the thing. Charlotte, it's not letting me end it. I can't end it. I can't find it. This was worth it. I felt so bad. There's got to be a way to end it.
No, man, no. End stream.
Oh, the end stream.
Yeah.